It is widely known that private limited company is the most preferred business structure for any entity because it enjoys various benefits such as limited liability, separate legal entity, and perpetual successions. And that is why the entrepreneurs prefer private limited as the most preferred business structure. So today we are going to talk about the mandatory compliances of a private limited company. Hi guys, this is Anuja and today we are going to talk about the compliances of a private limited company. So recently the Ministry of Corporate Affairs MCA has struck off more than 2 lakhs companies and have disqualified more than 3 lakh directors for non-compliances of various provisions laid out in the Companies Act 2013. So the compliances of a private limited company could be segregated into two types of compliances. One is mandatory compliances and the other is event-based compliances. So the first and the most mandatory compliance for a private limited company is the first board meeting. The first board meeting needs to be held within 30 days of the incorporation of the private limited company, and the notice of the board meeting must be sent to all the directors before 7 days of the board meeting. The second point is that of subsequent board meetings. Minimum 4 board meetings need to be held every year for a private limited company, and there cannot be more than 120 days of gap between the two meetings. The third point is filing of disclosure of interest by the directors. Well, every director should disclose in his first meeting in which he participates as a director, or in the first board meeting in every financial year, need to disclose his interest in any other company or in any other business entity in the form MPP1. The next point is that of the first auditor. Well, the first auditor need to be appointed by the board of directors within 30 days of the incorporation of the company and need to file the form ADT1. The next point is subsequent auditor. Well, the first auditor who was appointed will hold the office till the conclusion of the first annual general meeting. The subsequent auditor will be appointed in the first annual general meeting and who will hold the office till the conclusion of the 6th AGM, and the same needs to be filed in the form ADT1. The next point is the annual general meeting. Every private limited company needs to hold an annual general meeting on or before 30th September every year during business hours on a day which is not a public holiday, either at the registered office of the company or in the city where the registered office is located. The next point is filing of financial statements, where every private limited company needs to file its financial statements such as balance sheet, profit and loss account, and the director's report in the form AOC4. And this ROC form AOC4 needs to be filed within 30 days of holding of the annual general meeting. The next point is the statutory audit of accounts, where every private limited company needs to prepare its accounts and the same needs to be audited by the chartered accountant at the end of every financial year compulsorily. Now, the auditor will provide the audited report and the audited financial statements in order to file it with the registrar. So this was all about the mandatory compliances of a private limited company. Now let's understand what are the event-based compliances. So the event-based compliances are triggered upon happening of certain events and are situational based, such as if there is a change in the director, if there is a change in the authorized capital, or if there is a change in the registered office. These compliances need to be filed and need to be complied with in order to avoid heavy penalties. So one such event-based compliance is Form INC 22, which needs to be filed if there is a change in the registered office within 15 days of such change. The second is Form DIR 12, which needs to be filed if there is a change in the director within 30 days of such change. Form SH7 needs to be filed if there is an increase in the authorized share capital, and the Form PAS3 needs to be filed if there is an increase in the paid up share capital within 15 days of such allotment. Form DIR3 KYC also needs to be filed, which is nothing but the application of KYC of the directors on or before 30th April of the next immediate financial year. And lastly, the declaration of commencement of business needs to be filed within 180 days from the date of incorporation in the form INC 20A, which is mandatory for all the private limited companies. Over and above these compliances, a private limited company also needs to comply with the income tax regulations, TDS regulations, GST regulations, PF and ESI regulations also. So guys, please ensure that you comply with all the mandatory compliances and the event-based compliances, if any. Because if you fail to do so, there will be hefty penalty levied by the ministry. Because if the non-compliance period increases, the penalty also will increase. So I hope it was clear from my end as far as the mandatory compliances of a private limited company is concerned. If you have any query, please drop in your queries in the comment sections below, and then we will get back to you. That's all from my end. This is Anuja signing off. Have a good day.